Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Lunc AMA or Lunc AMA. We've got special guests from Metagloria. We've also got Clan from TerraRebels, hosted by myself, Itz Ridge, and Lunatic69. We'll wait a couple of minutes for most people to join, and then we'll get started. Let me bring on Clan, Itz Ridge, Lunatic69. We plan to do this at least a couple of times a month, maybe even weekly. We'll try to get some guests from TerraRebels, LunaCommunity, validators, and just have a weekly discussion. So that's sort of the plan. Itz Ridge, how you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm good, man. Just been chilling out, hanging out. Just had a little bit of coffee, trying to wake back up a little bit. How about you, man?
Yeah, good. It's been a good weekend. Watched the World Cup, just started. And looking forward to this. We'll focus the first half of it on Metagloria. Let me invite them to speak as well. We'll focus the first half on Metagloria. I've got a few questions prepared. We've got a few questions from our followers. So we'll ask the questions and then we'll open the space up for you guys to ask. And then later on, we've got a few questions for TerraRebel and Clan. So we'll speak to you guys as well. And Clan, just join in whenever you want, mate. If you want to just introduce yourself now and say hello. But look forward to speaking to you.
Sure thing. Well, I appreciate you bringing me up here for the space. I'm ClanMudhorn. I'm the administrative team rep for TerraRebels, while also holding positions with the marketing team and architects team. So I am not a developer for anyone that's not aware of who I am. So I can answer most questions, but not anything too technical. I mean, if you're asking for a certain line of code, I could not give it to you. But anything more generalized, I'd be more than happy to answer. And if I can't answer it directly, or to the extent that you wish to have it answered, I'll do my best to point you in the right direction.
Awesome. Thanks for the intro. And one of the things for myself and I think other Lunc community members is just understanding what's going on, because there's so many proposals, so many updates, different teams. So just like a weekly update from yourself or other key people, if you can let us know. I think it's pretty good because there's so much going on, and I'll try to avoid the drama as well and focus more on facts and what's being worked on than the drama.
Of course. And there definitely is a lot going on. We see a lot of proposals pop up every week, and I mean, we all have our own opinions about it, and I guess what you could call the more dramatic aspects of the community, as we see happen in the community as we all start to mature together as a community, which I think we're kind of starting to see. So that's a good thing. But like I said, more than happy to give any updates or answer any questions to the best of my ability.
Thanks, Clan. Metagloria, how's it going?
Hey there. Nice to meet you all. I will also tell a little bit about myself. My name is Karina. I'm a representative and co-founder of Metagloria. I'm also not a developer, but I will try to let you know a little bit more about our project, about our future plans, and so on.
Cool. Sounds good. Itz Ridge, Lunatic, do you guys want to say anything before we get started?
Oh, we can go get started.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's just get it done.
Cool. First of all, I'd like to ask your background with Luna. So for myself, I was quite heavily involved with Luna quite earlier on, and then obviously got involved with LunaClassic. What's your involvement? Did you get involved with Luna beforehand? Did you start building on Luna, then moved over to LunaClassic? Could you just give an intro and a bit of history? Did you get my question, Metagloria?
Hey, excuse me. I have some troubles with the connection. Can you please repeat your question?
Yes. So I wanted to ask you about sort of the history of Metagloria. Did you guys start building on Luna? How did you get started with LunaClassic? Just a bit of history and background of Metagloria project.
Sure. We started our project approximately in March of this year. We started on another chain, but then I told this story a couple of times. We were holders of Luna before crash, and we witnessed all the situation, and we completely changed our project to start to build on LunaClassic because we wanted to contribute to the chain and to help in its further development. So we were, I can say, in the very beginning of the reviving of this chain.
That's really good to hear. I'm a bit surprised about that because, again, at that time, not a lot of people believed in LunaClassic. So fair play to, building on March, because a lot of people probably moved over later. And after the burn proposals the movement got going, you see like myself and lots of other influencers talking about LunaClassic. So being involved really early, that's really good. What made you come to LunaClassic?
Because I think that even if some people think that when such difficult situations happen in the chain, it's a bad sign and it's a reason not to come here. For us, it's a field of new opportunities, and it is even more interesting to start your project when all people are unite together to revive the chain, and we had connections with the developers. They paid attention to us, and we understood that our project is interesting for this chain, and that we can bring something new, we can bring something really really valuable to this chain. So in May, of course, it was a little bit crazy, but right now it seems to me that our project is really valuable for the community, and we are doing our best to really bring something interesting here.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds good. Because obviously the next step is bringing people on chain, projects like NFTs and the play to earn game that's coming up. I'll ask you a few questions on that. That's going to bring more and more people on chain, and building is what's going to bring us the future of what people want for LunaClassic. So on your project, so I believe you've launched a few NFTs. I'm just on your Myota marketplace. You've already launched a few NFT collections, and is a planned future to launch the play to earn game?
Yes, regarding Myota, we launched our own NFT marketplace, and right now we're continuing developing of it, and we plan to come to a fully working multi-chain marketplace. So right now we are building a background to add some more chains. We want to also attract users of another chains to our marketplace, and I think that it is also an interesting and valuable product for the community, because currently not all marketplaces are fully working, and sometimes people have some issues with launching their own NFT collections. But I think that NFTs and play to earn games are also very important part of a blockchain development at all, because currently we have a very few projects that are developing in this field exactly. But NFTs are a very, very cool product on the blockchain. So we're trying to engage more people to come with their art, to come with their new ideas, and we will do our best to help them to launch on LunaClassic.
Sorry, I was on mute. So yeah, I can see you've got four collections from Metagloria, and there's one Lunc penguins. Are there plans for more launches on your marketplace already that's coming up?
Yes, Lunc Penguins is a collection of Happy Catty crypto. We also invited them to launch in our marketplace as one of the first projects that came to us, and we were very glad to invite them. And we had two collections of Metagloria launched in Meta. It was a Cacti collection, actually swapped from another marketplace to Meta, and the Muji collection that is currently being minted. Also, we plan to invite some other projects. Right now, I will not share what exactly projects we plan to bring to Maeta, but we also, of course, plan to engage other popular projects to come on our marketplace.
Yeah, that sounds really good because we've held these spaces before with like Ed and Vegas from LunaClassic community. A couple of questions we had was how can we launch NFT projects? So your marketplace and Launchpad would help loads of people. And if I hear anyone come to me asking for launching on LunaC, I'll definitely send them to you. Could you talk a bit about how you can launch NFTs on your marketplace step by step for someone completely new listening that would like to potentially launch something with you guys?
Currently, we're only working on the tool to help people to launch their collections automatically without our help. But right now, if someone wants to launch their collection on Maeta, they can contact us in Twitter or in Telegram. We also have a public group there, and I will help with any assistance that is needed. So we'll do everything. If someone wants to launch, they can just contact us.
And would that be launched on chain? So they'll send you sort of their pictures and metadata, and then you work to launch it on chain?
Yes, of course. And these NFTs also can be added to TerraStation. People will be able to see it in their app and so on.
Okay, that's good. So you guys got an app as well. So that's, would attract people potentially launching it with you guys.
Perhaps a misunderstanding. We don't have our own app. We provide the possibility to add the NFT to TerraStation wallet app, because some other marketplaces unfortunately doesn't have this feature.
Okay, no, that sounds good. DeFi Reg, Lunatic, have you guys got any questions, or shall I carry on with my list?
Well, I have a question actually. I was asked this by some guys that were interested in your project, and one of the questions that was asked was, in general, I'm not familiar with staking NFTs, and I was asked, maybe you can, if you actually know, explain what staking NFTs actually is, what it does, and what purpose it serves, and whether it's possible in Metagloria.
I understood. I received a lot of questions regarding staking, but as far as our project is more about launch of P2E game, and our NFTs will be a future keys to the game. We are not providing the option to stake our NFTs, and we have a number of reasons why we do not do it. And unfortunately, it is impossible to stake Metagloria entities because we provide another utilities for it. So I think it's understandable.
Yeah, sounds fair enough.
Okay, so going back to the marketplace, what are the fees if someone wanted to launch on your marketplace? What are the fees that you take for the minting and for like buying and selling transactions on your marketplace?
We have 2.5% fees for primary sales and 0.5% for secondary sales. After analysis of another marketplaces existing on this chain and in other chains, I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah, I'd say that's competitive. I've worked on a Solana NFT launch before, and a different marketplace. So those fees are definitely quite competitive. People that are listening, if you guys want to ask any questions, just request to speak. I've got a few more questions to ask, and then DeFi Reg will bring you on so you can directly ask Metagloria any questions. So the next question I had was to talk about your play to earn metaverse game. I've looked at some of the dates on roadmap. Could you talk a bit more about the game, some of the dates?
Sure. We plan to launch a beta version of our game in February 2023, and currently we are working on the development. Our game will provide the possibility to live real life with your avatar, like in Metaverse, and also to earn cryptocurrency that can be converted to LNC. In some time, we will also add some in other chains because we want our game to also be be multi-chain, same as Maeta, because it is impossible for all products currently existing to implement other chains also, to let people from other chains interact with LUNC and so on. I have a white paper on our website and a link in our Twitter also, which explains a little bit more about the gameplay. The visual appearance of the game will be another planet, Planet Gloria, same as our project named, and we will implement all features existing in the metaverse, so people will be able to buy lands, buy property, conduct their business. They will be able to interact with other users using different types of communication, and also we will provide different activities like fighting and so on.
Okay, no, that sounds good. So I'm assuming that you'd need to buy some of the NFTs to play that game. So you'd have to own some Cacti or Muji to play that game.
Of course, as I told, these NFTs are keys to our games. So right now we're encouraging people to buy it, people who want to play our future game, because we will implement a system where this NFT will allow holder to enter to our game. It will be used instead of login and password to ensure security and to ensure that no one will steal your login and your password or something like this. So to enter our future game, people will need to have at least one NFT from Metagloria collections.
Okay, are there plans, so let's say people from some countries or some people that can't afford to play your game, is there plans to have like scholarships similar to like Axie Infinity or other games like Peg Axie? Are there plans to allow people that can't afford to buy your NFTs to still play the game?
Currently, we are thinking about it, but right now, what I can say is that from the very beginning, only holders will be able to play the game. But of course, we will think about other possibilities in the future. Currently, we launched Cacti collection. Right now, we have Muji collection, and after a beta version, we will launch also 10,000 NFTs of tickets that will be for a lower price. To allow more people to enter our game, but it will be only after beta. So people who want to enter the beta version to try the game from the very beginning and to have the experience that will let them be more familiar with the game and with the rules, they can buy our NFT right now, and they will be allowed to enter the beta.
Okay, that sounds good. So just to clarify, the beta, are you planning end of this year or earlier next year? Did you say that you're planning to launch it?
I'm so sorry. Can you please repeat? Didn't understand you.
When did you say you're trying to launch the beta of the game?
February 2023.
Awesome. And then you're going to start selling the tickets after that, and then the tickets will allow you to play the game as well?
Yes, we plan to launch tickets approximately in 2 months after we close the beta.
Okay, no, that sounds good. Could you talk a bit about the tokenomics? So I personally played Axie Infinity. I got in early in Axie Infinity, so I was lucky with that. But with play-to-earn games and earning money, it's almost like a hyperinflation. So as long as you keep getting new users, the price keeps going up. With Axie, I got lucky. With Peg Axie, I got in quite late. The price dropped. People started selling because the amount of supply that goes up. What's your plans with the tokenomics so you don't have a similar fate to some of the previous play-to-earn model?
So our tokenomics will be built on 2 currencies. If called technically, it is a soft currency and hard currency. Soft currency will be only in-game currency, which is used for regular purchases, which allow user to have all vital resources that he needs to continue the game, to buying food and so on and so on. Hard currency. Players will be able to receive it for some kinds of business, some kinds of activities, and especially hard currency will be withdrawn. So the idea is all players, regardless they are investing in the game or not, they will be able to earn currency there. I will Hold on, please, a second. I will open the white paper just for me to be completely sure in everything and to provide the proper information to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I'm not a native speaker and I'm always trying to explain it in more details, but I think regarding tokenomics, it is just better to go according to the white paper.
Your English is quite good.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Okay, so players will be able to take part in different kinds of activities. First of all, we're speaking about daily tasks, conducting small businesses, also the time they're spent in the game. For all these activities, they will be able to receive soft currency, just in-game currency. This currency can be used for transport, for buying food, for buying vital resources, for buying small properties, and for vital equipment. Regarding hard currency, this currency can be received by donation. So, for example, just in a simple game, you can invest in the game and you can buy some in-game currency. And also for some kinds of more large businesses. This currency also can be spent for more expensive transport, for example, for more luxury resources, properties, and so on and so on. All investments that are made by players in the game will be distributed, and some percentage of these contributions will be distributed among all players according to the time they spent in the game. I hope I explained it clear, but if you have any questions, please let me know.
No, that makes sense. So what's the plan to launch these tokens? Will it be like a fair value token launch, or will it be airdropped to NFT holders?
Some parts of tokens will be airdropped to holders of NFTs, and we plan to launch token approximately in January or February of 2023.
Okay, and is it a fair value launch? Or what's the plan to launch it in January?
I'm so sorry. Can you please repeat?
No. So I'm assuming you said a percentage of token will be airdropped. What about the other percentages? Even in Luna, when those tokens being launched.
I understand. Will be used as a gaming pool to back all the game economies.
Okay. No, that sounds good. And I also so the 1,000 tokens. Is there a limit on it? What's the supply? Or for how many months will you be selling 1,000 tickets?
You're talking about the current minting of our collection.
So it says on the website every first of the month, 10,000 more tickets.
I understood. We also have to make some changes on the website, so we will open new 10,000 of plots of keys to the game when it will be necessary, because I understand that we will start game with less amount of less amount of players than 10,000, and when it will be necessary, we'll release more tickets to more people to enter the game, but only when it will be necessary.
Okay, no, that sounds good. I'm really looking forward to the tokenomics of your token, the hard token or the soft token. That's going to be quite key to the success of the play-to-earn model game.
If you're interested in the tokenomics of the game, we have a link to a white paper on our website, and it is explained there in more details.
Yeah, no worries. I'll have a look at that as well. But I meant in January as well, because you'll give us, when you launch your tokens, there's going to be a lot more details on the tokenomics.
Of course.
Also, up top pinned, Lunatics shared the link for the white paper that's pinned up top if anyone wants to go click that and take a read for yourself.
Cool. By the way, have you guys got any questions? I've been sort of blasting Metagloria with my questions. Clan, Strat, I think Rex, DeFi Reg, few people here.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Not a personal question of mine, by the way. Hey, Metagloria, I believe you said your name was Karina, if I'm not mistaken. Hello, pleasure to meet you. Happy to be up here on the panel with you. I've been following your project since, the DPEG event happened and you guys materialized at the very beginning. So it's good to see that you have, stuck around and continue to build. Honestly, in my opinion, one of the best looking projects we've seen to come and build on chain post DPEG event. So, like I said, been following you guys for a long time. Really excited and happy to see the development that you guys continue to progress with. I guess I have one quick question though, and this was asked by a community member because I did say that anyone could drop a quick question for you guys today. So the community member wanted me to ask, will you have any type of burn mechanism or function built into your platform or game, or just, I guess, really any aspect of any dApps you produce?
Of course, hello. Of course, it is also mentioned in our white paper. 5% of all contributions made in our game will be converted to LUNC, regardless in what cryptocurrency this contribution was made. So it will be converted to LUNC and burned. 5% of all game revenue.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer. And hopefully that community member's in here and heard it. If not, then I'll be sure to relay that information later on.
Cool. Thanks for the question. I think it was one of my questions as well. So thanks for asking that, Clan. Final few questions from me on the play to earn game. Is there going to be sort of like a breeding aspect to the game? Because some of the play to earn games that I was involved with, that was a huge attraction for people to play. And again, not financial advice, but for trader and investors, it's like a huge opportunity to sort of maximize gains. Is that something that will be part of the game?
It's really funny actually that you asked me this question. I will not share all the information about it, but I can say that yes, we will have a breathing mechanism, and right now we're thinking about how we can implement it and how it actually will look like. But yes, we have plans regarding this.
That's really good. Like I said, from my experience, that is something that attracted a lot of people because, the potential, again, not financial advice, I'm just sharing with you my thoughts, with Axie Infinity, I got in quite early and it was successful for me. With Peg Axie, again, I shared everything on Twitter. I got in fairly late and I lost some money as well. But from breeding aspect, it does attract a lot of people and some big investors come in. Hopefully, again, I don't know if you can share the information. Hopefully you have some limits to the hyperinflation as well, because with breeding, you can get an exponential gain to the game and the tokenomics could absolutely get smashed up. So hopefully, I don't know if you can share some information, you have some plans to make sure that doesn't happen to Metagloria.
I will not say that breeding will be a part of our gameplay, but we'll try to implement breeding as an interesting activity for our product.
Okay, no, that's good. But I'm really looking forward to, especially with this breeding aspect too. I'll definitely try it again, especially you guys supporting LunaClassic community. I'll definitely play and try a game and hopefully see you guys succeed. I've looked at your gameplay as well. It looks really good compared to some of the other crypto play to earn games that you have. So, congratulations from what you guys have done and thank you from me. I'll open the
Well, I
questions up to
actually
you
had
guys.
one more question, Rocko, if you allow me.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Okay, you kind of touched on it a little bit when you asked about the breeding aspect of it. I've played a few and been involved in a few different games where breeding was an aspect of it, and you see it do kind of well, and then it either hurts the economic structure of the game to the extent that the creators usually shut off the feature later on, depending on how it's implemented in the game or not. So, Karina, again, if I have that correct, and if you can't answer or don't necessarily have the entire tokenomic structure worked out at this point in time to this extent to truly have your, economic ecosystem inside of the game 100% hammered out. But, having been involved in a different play-to-earn games, granted, most of them were on Binance Smart Chain. You see a lot of them after a few months run into issues with sustainability due to their inability to scale accordingly as the game grows. Usually their earn model is too weighted to the extent that, after a few months, they simply run out of coins or tokens to distribute to the game players. And I've seen quite a few different games fail because of this, either because they just shut down because their earn model isn't scalable, or it's just not sustainable from the outset, more as a marketing ploy than anything. So I guess I'm curious, how do you, as a project, plan to counteract that and make your game sustainable and scalable for the long term?
As I mentioned, breeding is not a part of our gameplay, but regarding the game economics at all, I want to say that most games which has P2E model come to crash in the end because they are built as I don't know is it correct in English, but they are built as a pyramid. So the game, the game lives only when people contribute to it. Currently, we try to make our economic model in this way that our game will continue to live regardless contributions in it. But I completely understand that if we will not have any contributions to the game, we will have to reduce the rewards for players until the situation is fixed. I completely understand it. But as far as you're familiar with such game models, I also would be interested to hear your opinion regarding our tokenomics if you didn't see it in our white paper, because it's interesting for me to hear someone's opinion about it. But I know that game built as a pyramid will crash in the end, and we are trying to do our best to avoid this situation.
Of course. Yeah, and how you described it as a pyramid, I would say, is definitely very accurate for the cause that you see a lot of these play-to-earn games crash. Everything's doing great and just roaring upwards, not only in like users, but also on the price chart if they, introduce a layer 2 token into the game, and it really is, as long as they're gaining new users, then, the game continues to flourish. But the moment they hit that, plateau of user basis, you start to see things really go wrong. So I think describing it as a pyramid, as you did for these other games, is definitely accurate. I'll have to look into your tokenomic structure a little deeper on my end before I'd be able to give any advice. Well, not necessarily advice, but input, at least opposed to how I've seen other failed play-to-earn games, and how I feel that their tokenomic structure played a role in that. But as you said, it seems like it's something you're aware of, having, I'm sure, researched plenty of other play-to-earn models and what became the ultimate downfall for them. So yeah, I'll be sure to give your tokenomic structure definitely an in-depth look. And if I feel that I can offer any sort of experienced insight into that, I definitely will.
Thanks a lot. I will be very grateful for your opinion on this topic. And also, I have just received a message regarding this, and I received a question at the very beginning of our AMA regarding staking on our marketplace, and I got this question wrong, and I want to highlight that on our marketplace it is possible to stake NFTs among currently listed collections and among the collections that will be listed in the future. Only our collections are not providing the staking feature, but if someone wants to launch a collection using this feature, it is possible, of course.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. Just my 2 cents. Again, I'm not a developer. I've just I've sort of put money into play-to-earn games. 2 big ones that I did previously, again, not shilling other projects. They didn't do as well after the launch and the hype died out. And the key metric for me was like the mint and burn ratio. So when you do launch your tokens in January, I think it's going to be quite important that how you manage that. Both projects that I invested, the 2 examples, Axie Infinity and Pegaxi, they were doing amazing. Price was going up. I was tweeting about it. Lots of other influencers tweeting about the price going up, people investing. And then I think at one point when the mint and burn ratio was sort of changing, way more was being minted by playing the game. That's when it started going down. Same with SOP or the Axie Infinity, when the unlock started happening, way more minting than burning. So just my 2 cents, it'd be how you manage that when more information comes out is going to be key. That's just my 2 cents.
I also played Axie Infinity, and I understand the situation that may happen. So we'll try to provide all the information regarding our system and all our social medias for people to be able to be familiar with it and to. Regarding breeding, I'm completely sure that we will not have any issues related to breeding in our game. Regarding the economic of the game at all, we'll try to build it as sustainable as possible.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. From my point of view, I'll definitely try out your game. Again, not financial advice. I'll get some NFTs and keep following you guys on your journey, and hope to see you guys succeed. And from LunaClassic community, I like what you said about the burns. If you guys succeed, NFTs and play-to-earn games, and again, not saying it goes viral, it could be a really big project and bring the utility and building on chain that we'll all talk about to the chain. So congratulations on what you're doing. DeFi Rares, Lunatic69, have you guys got any questions or any people listening? If you guys want to ask any questions, the next 10-15 minutes is open to you guys.
I think I'm good. Most everything that I shared that I was going to ask was, I think, got answered pretty well. If anyone would like to come up and ask a question for Metagloria, please request and we can bring you up. But other than that, any of my questions have been answered for today.
Yeah. I think I'm also fine. I actually have to admit I underestimated your project quite a bit. I don't want to say I disrespected, but it was pretty nice to hear all this stuff. So I'm quite bullish now, actually, on Metagloria.
A couple more questions. I just had a DM. What's the difference if someone wants to buy? Which one to buy of the collections that are already launched? So how is Muji different to Cacti?
Muji is a collection that is currently being minted. So right now, if someone wants to enter our project, they can mint common alien egg. By the way, rare eggs are already sold out. This egg can be opened at any time the holder wants to open it, and they will receive a Muji of different rarity class. It depends on the luck of this person. So we have rarity classes from common to legendary, 5 rarity classes, and so that's it. We currently been minted on Maeta, so I invite everyone who wants to enter our project to mint an NFT.
Awesome, sounds good. Between the two, this is my question. Between the 2 alien eggs, what's the difference between the 2 alien eggs?
The difference was the rare eggs provide the possibility to receive emoji at least of uncommon rarity class. So it was like from uncommon to legendary. There were no chance to receive just a common emoji, but currently all rare eggs are already sold. So right now we only have common eggs, so there is a chance to receive a common emoji also.
That sounds good. There's a couple more questions on burns. I think you've already answered that. So I'll hopefully if the person that asked you've listened to Metagloria answering that question. But they've asked another question. Are you planning to burn any fees off from the Mayata exchange to burn Lunc?
No, we don't have such plans, just because right now we are raising funds for further game development, and we burned some part of revenue when we minted Cacti collection, and right now all revenue we receive, we collect it for further game development, because it is more important to build the final product that will include burning LUNC rather than burn something right now, because we are raising funds for development.
Yes, I understand that. From Lunc communities, usually questions are about burns. So there's the other question about burns were about how much have you burnt up to, and I don't know if you know something from the top of your head. How much have you burnt up to now?
I'm sorry, is it a question how much we burned up to now?
Yes.
I don't remember actually. We 21 million LUNC we burned from the first collection.
Okay, no, that's good to hear. I think there's projects come up. I think I was guilty of like tweeting about a project that said they're going to burn like something crazy ridiculous without any backing. So that's why I think the LunaClassic community is quite cautious about it. But again, from my research, again, not financial advice, I really like what you guys are doing, and definitely be following you guys a lot more. Have you got anything final to say, Metagloria? Sorry,
I actually have one more question if we have time for it.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
So I've been looking at your economic breakdown on your white paper. I think it's laid out pretty well. I guess one small suggestion just on the formatting of it, just because a lot of it does get lost in the paragraphs, I would do just so users are capable of understanding it a little better. Just it would be nice to see like a bullet point breakdown of the economic structure, since it is all listed there, the different percentages and what have you, and you have really nice flow charts showing the process of the in-game economy. But just like a bullet point structure to see, the different percentages and how it moves in game. And while looking over this, a question did pop into mind because I'm not seeing it on the white paper. And I know it is something that is always on the top of people's minds when they're looking into any type of project like this that is going to issue a Layer 2 token. And you may have gone over it already, because I know you did touch on the tokenomic structure, but I personally don't remember if you did or not, and I'm sure anyone listening or jumped in a little bit late wouldn't mind hearing about it again. But when it comes to your tokenomic structure, specifically upon minting and distribution, what is that distribution breakdown going to look like? I'm sure there's going to be a percentage that goes to the team directly. That's always only fair. And then, a percentage for the, reserve for like the in-game economy or rewards, and then, a distribution to be issued to, DEXs for trading. And on top of that, if there is a team distribution, is there a vesting period that comes along with that to secure the immediate, well-being of the game as it gets its legs?
Okay, so I hope I understood you right. Regarding the distribution, we can briefly highlight from the very beginning when players contribute to the game, 95% of the funds will be converted to stablecoin because it ensures the sustainability of the game. 5% will be converted to LUNC, which will be burned. Among the 95% that we have, 20% will go for the further development and the updates of the game. 65% will go to the gaming pool, and 10% are income of the team, of all members. This 65% will be distributed among all players according to the time they spent in the game.
Okay,
So
I think I might be a little bit confused, and that's why I'm asking. I'm seeing soft and hard currency, two different in-game currencies, one for a certain aspect of products or services, and then the hard currency for, another sect of, in-game features. I guess it was more an assumption because you don't directly say it. Are you issuing a layer 2 token as the soft and hard currencies? Are those going to be on-chain currencies?
yes, perhaps it was a misunderstanding. Soft currency as well as a hard currency are just soft currency exists only in the game. So
Okay.
it will be not blockchain token at all. It's just
Okay.
a simple game token. Hard currency will be blockchain token, but we will use it only in the game. We don't have plans to list it on any exchanges because we don't want to have some changes of rate because it will affect the sustainability of the game. So
Exactly. Exactly.
this
Interesting. Interesting.
yes, this token can will be play how to say users will be able to convert this token to cryptocurrency to LUNC, for example, directly
Hmm.
on our website. We will provide,
I
for
see.
example, you understand me? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, that's actually a really interesting feature, I guess, lack of a feature for the game, considering that you won't be listing it on dexes yourself, which is something you don't normally see with these games. And as you mentioned, that really should help with the sustainability of the project and not any, reward pools getting drained per se, due to, people pumping and dumping the token. Um, okay, that's really interesting. So, no, you broke that down rather well.
Sorry, to
So
add to Clan's question, so those tokens won't be tradable, Karina?
Yeah, those tokens won't be tradable because if we make hard currency tradable, it will affect the all game economy. Just because, as he said, pumps and dumps of a rate will affect all our game, and this token will be converted. People can convert it to LUNC, for example, and use LUNC everywhere they want to use it. But our token will not be listed.
Okay, that's really good. I thought it would have been listed, but I believe that's
yeah,
probably a better take, isn't it, Clan?
I mean that it definitely adds a different aspect that you haven't really seen from different play to earn projects. You usually see their token listed on any number of dexes, and they definitely get pumped and dumped. And the dumping part, usually on the token launch day within the first hour. Um, you see the early buyers or the first round buyers just totally dump the
Exactly.
token. And that usually leads to projects getting called scams and, people just losing faith in the token because if someone comes across the project, they just see that giant red line going down. And it really hurts projects. So seeing that the game isn't going to be listing its token on exchanges, that's definitely a different feature that I personally feel and this is just my opinion, would help the sustainability of the economic model. Um, So, and also Trader Rocko, since you asked, just to help us both understand it, the soft currency is going to be like any in-game gold, okay, not on-chain. That's just an in-game currency. And then hard currency, though on-chain, won't be listed for trading on dexes, but will be transferable to Lunc in-game, which I assume you can then withdraw. And then I assume you'd also be able to withdraw the hard currency to, say a wallet, because it is an on-chain contract. No, yeah, that's really interesting. Now, granted, I since they're not releasing any DEX liquidity pools to allow for DEX trading, I guess if someone earned enough through playing the game and they felt the need to risk their entire holding by opening up a liquidity pool, I guess in the long run, someone could eventually do that if you can withdraw the token to a wallet and open up a liquidity pool for DEX trading. But I don't know. I'm just rambling now.
No, so I'll just add to this. Spoon, I'll bring you on next, mate. I'll just ask two more questions. So if you can't sort of exchange trade it, what will determine the values? If someone wants to sell the tokens that they've earned and they want to make some money, so it's play to earn, how would they do that, Karina?
I hope I understood you well. Okay, so from the very beginning, this currency can be earned and also can be spent in the game. And if someone earns this currency in the game, he can convert it to some other cryptocurrency that is actually listed on any DEX. So we provide the possibility to receive currency just we're not taking business right now. We're speaking only about just even spending their time in the game. So if someone spends enough time in the game, he's able to receive this currency just for being in the game. And this currency can be directly converted to LUNC according to the real rate of this currency. Of LUNC, for example. So you can convert it and to use it everywhere. You can receive it for spending time in the game and also for some in-game activities. So, for example, you can buy or build a restaurant, for example, and you will receive a revenue for doing your business, and you can convert this revenue to LUNC and use it. That's play to earn.
So what would determine the value of it? So how will you set the value of what conversion rate you get to LUNC? Is it something that you guys will set per month, per year? I explained my question correctly?
Yes, can you please? I'm so sorry. Can you please explain?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Again, I'm trying to think out loud. I don't know, Clan, did you get my question?
Yeah, I got your question. So, Karina, you have the hard currency, and I promise I don't think Rocko or I are trying to grill you right now, so please don't take it that way. So you have the hard currency, which is exchangeable for Lunc. Okay. Usually, when it comes to a token's value, either in-game or otherwise, it's due to the market maker mechanism on a decentralized exchange, and whatever the currency is trading for at that point in time on a DEX is also its value in game. So I believe Rocko is asking that in the absence of the DEX aggregator or liquidity pool and the ability to trade the token and decide a market value, is the hard currency in game going to have like a set parameter that is its specific exchange rate for Lunc? Or I'm also seeing this, and this might answer your question if what I'm thinking is correct.
I understood. Thank you so much. I understood. So That's exactly the reason why we, from the very beginning, convert all our revenue to stablecoin, because this token will be, we can call it a virtual dollar, for example. So it will be equal to dollar, and people will exchange this token to LUNC regarding the real rate of LUNC at the moment.
Okay, so the hard currency is going to be a stable coin, in theory.
Yes, we can call it this way, but as far as it is not listed anywhere, so it's just our in-game coin. But that's why it is always backed with a stable coin. That's why we always convert all our revenue to a stable coin.
Interesting. Okay, that
That's
makes
awesome.
sense.
That's exactly what my question was. Thanks, Clan, for explaining my question better. And thanks, Karina, for answering that. I think that makes the project even better.
I'm sorry. I just didn't understand from the first time. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. And to be fair, from your answer, I think that's even better, because some of the projects that I've played or invested before in play to earn, they were like a different, like a pumponomics, I call it. So this project, I think it'd be probably harder to grow, but it's more sustainable. So I'm really excited to how it goes. Spoon, I'll let you speak, mate. I've got a couple more questions, but I'll let Spoon ask, and then maybe I'll ask a couple more questions before Metagloria can go if they want.
Thank you, WSB, for the mic. Metagloria, thanks for holding this AMA. We've talked before last time, and I gotta say, the trailer looks good. And I'm looking forward for the beta testing that you said sometime first quarter or second quarter next year. My question to you is that it goes towards the fundraising for development. So what's the target, and how close are you to the target? Did you guys start your development already, or are you waiting for the money first?
We have already started the development of the game, and I had such a question on another AMA. Unfortunately, I think that it's not right to announce what is the target amount that we plan to raise, but we already started the development, and things go pretty well right now. I think so.
Okay, fair enough. So you're saying that you should be on track with regards to the funding, so this way you can complete the game. So that's all I asked. So thanks.
I just got a question from a community member. They want to know if the game will be browser based, or what it will be based upon, like if you go download an application or so forth, so on.
This game will be playable using a browser and also using phones. So if everything will work out as we plan, we will launch our own app also for people to be able to play this game using all devices.
Awesome. Thank you.
A question to add to Spoon. So you mentioned about fundraising. So for raising funds, usually, if you had tokens that you launch, people have like VC investors. So if you're not doing all of that, is it, again, if it's too personal question, then that's fine, you don't have to answer it. So is it through mainly fundraising that you're raising funds? Do you plan to take investments for like selling tokens? I'm assuming you're not selling a hard token, exchangeable hard token. So yeah, my question, I suppose, again, I'm not asking the questions correctly today. What's sort of the raising funding and capital? What's sort of your thoughts on that and how you guys are doing it?
The main source of raising funds are currently NFT sales that we are doing right now. So we encourage all people who want to support our project to buy NFTs from our collections. They will simultaneously receive a key to our game and help us to raise funds for the development of the game. So NFT collection is a source of raising funds.
Can I add something? Do you think that the NFT is enough to cover for development costs?
That was going to be one. Yeah, good question, Spoon.
It will depend on how many NFTs we will sell.
What happens if you only sell minimal? Where would you get the funding?
By the way, I want to highlight that we already sold almost 40% of the collection, but if we will have really, really bad sales in the end, we'll, of course, have some delays, but we anyway will deliver the final product that we plan. It's only is about the timeline.
Do you have a plan B if you come short?
Of course. At least I want to say that beside the NFT collection, we also have our own capital, and we're here to stay, so we plan to deliver our product anyway, but NFT sales ensure that we will deliver our product according to our schedule, and we will deliver it as full as we plan it to be.
So there should not be any delay because you have your own resource if there's short of sale, correct?
If we will have bad sales, we of course will have some delays, but it will not mean that we will not deliver our product. That's what I'm talking about. So right now it is about the timeline of delivering the final product. When I say final product, I'm speaking about the fully working beta for our holders.
Thank you, Gloria. That's all I got. If you guys want to piggyback, whatever.
Thanks, Spoon. We'll let one more question, Metagloria, and then we'll start rounding up, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I think OZB, you've got a question, mate? OZB?
I have. You there, OZ? If he can't get his mic to work, I do have one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Hold on. I want to be sure to give OZ the best chance to get his question across. Nope. Okay. So, Karina, I do see, and I'm digging over your white paper now, so forgive me. I do see that you have under a section titled Business Interactions that you will have the ability for like player-to-player transactions of, in-game products. So I guess my question is that going to be a live in-game economy to where, say, player one wants to sell an item to player two? Is that item going to have a set value? Or is that going to be a value that player one can place on the item and make it a true, evolving?
I understood. It will be a value that player wants to receive for an item.
Awesome. That's really cool. I'm not gonna lie, that's really cool.
Should we see if OZ got his mic sorted, or give you another opportunity?
No, just good morning. It's actually the 8 in the morning down under Monday. I just wake up and I just wanna, because I didn't know what's the topic, except that is LunaClassic topic as always, but primary topic I didn't know. So I was I'm still trying to figure out what you guys talking about. Sorry, just give me some time.
No worries. Well, we wanted to focus the first hour on Metagloria, and then we can ask for a few updates from LunaClassic to Clan, or if anyone else can help us. So any final questions from Metagloria, from DeFi Res, Luna669 Clan, or anyone else? If not, we'll start rounding up. Cool. So I'll just round up my thoughts on it. So really congratulations to what you've done, Karina, Metagloria. I respect that you guys believed in LunaClassic at that time when 6ix9ine? Do you want to mute yourself, mate?
I'm sorry, man. That's my...
No worries. I respect what you guys have done, especially like supporting LunaClassic, one of the first builders on LunaClassic. So if LunaClassic succeeds, obviously you'll get sort of respect for one of the first builders. In terms of your game, love what you told us. Again, I've not been paid to do this. So I've had a couple of DMs that, have you been paid for Metagloria? I haven't even got any NFTs. And my plan is to do this Lunacy AMAs with different LunaClassic developers, projects, once a month, every couple of weeks, every other week. So we'll speak to more projects as well. But from my understanding, I really like what you guys are doing. I'll buy a couple of NFTs and follow you guys, follow your beta. I particularly like what you talked about, your tokenomics, not having like the 2-game tokenomics, the breeding, all the different pools and pump and dumps. I think that can sometimes set off a red alert, especially all the BNB play to earn model games that I've invested in or played. It's great if you get in early, but people that come in after and the sustainability of it could be a problem. So that's just my roundup. Thank you for coming on. Have you got anything final to say, Metagloria, before we let you go? Or you're happy to stay along and listen to our conversation, but have you got anything final to say?
Thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm really glad to be here, and I'm very grateful for all interesting questions I had there, and for all opinions regarding economics and so on. It is really, really important and valuable for us.
Cool, and I'd love to have you on again. So especially in January when you're launching your token, I'd love to have you on again, because especially when investing or trading, those are the main things I look for. And apologies if I've grilled or me, Clan, or anyone else have asked you tough questions. And thank you for answering all our questions. Yeah, it was just a thank you, Metagloria. You didn't have to reply to that. So thank you. We can move on to the second half of it. So there's been a few questions for LunaClassic or TerraRebels. So the plan for this was just to have an open discussion. When we've done AMAs before, it's been quite back and forth, a bit professional and official. I wanted to have a casual conversation where people can come and ask questions. I've had a few DMs and questions already, which I'd like to ask you, Clan, if you can answer, or anyone else. And the plan for this was mainly DeFi Ridge's suggestion. Usually when we have trying to follow LunaClassic, this gets quite difficult because there's so many proposals, so many updates. It's very hard to keep up with it. And I even get a couple of DMs, what's your thoughts on what's happening with the Terra VC? And I think that's going to be a probably topic of conversation. It's just very hard to keep up with everything that's going on. So just a weekly or every fortnightly, we've had updates from Ed and Vegas. I know they're quite busy. Tobias. So just an update on what's going on. So people can come on maybe in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, get an update on the key things that's happening from LunaClassic, TerraRebels community. So that was sort of our goal, Clan. I don't know what your thoughts are, or if you want to add anything, but yeah, that was the plan. So get a developer. So we've got a couple of validators planned to come on again in the future. Some of the key members will come on, and then just have a chat on a quick update on what's going on. I'll end my question here, and you can speak, Clan.
Of course. So, a central hub for updates definitely is something that is needed, and I know TerraRebels is actually working on that to kind of, for lack of a better term, and no one freak out, but centralize a place where people can go and get all the current and updated information on proposals, different projects, maybe different foundations, such as what Ed is working on. So I think that'll be really good to have eventually, so we don't have to scour the deepest depths of Twitter and Discord servers, hunting out that latest update from whoever. So I guess update-wise, TerraRebels side, we're really working to hammer out and complete the V2.3 upgrade, which is also encompassing the Tendermint upgrade now, which will bring us closer to parity with Luna V2 technologically wise. And then upgrading the Tendermint, to my understanding, is one of the largest hurdles that comes along with opening up the 3 or 4 IBC channels that are currently closed, especially that big one that links to Cosmos. So the teams are hard at work at that. At least the developer teams, the front end team is also working towards figuring out and fixing the different things that the V23 upgrade will break on Terra Station side. So that is something that we're aware of, and we hope that the community is aware of. That with because if I'm not mistaken, the last I heard, speaking with Zeradar and Ed and everyone else involved in the project, is that V23 backend wise, so the actual like structure of the code and everything, is pretty much almost done for the upgrade. It's not quite done, but we're getting there. And what we're really trying to figure out now is, implement the code on local Terra, with, the endpoint on like a local station application, linked to the local Terra so you can see what breaks on Terra Station, because there are a lot of different changes that are going to happen in the V23 upgrade. So we have to see what breaks and then, try to fix it. Once V23 is completed, we do plan on essentially asking the community, like, is this something you guys want to implement automatically, or is this something you guys want to wait and have all the bugs fixed out on Terra Station? So that'll be a community decision in the end, for the direct timing of the V23 release, because dependent upon how many bugs we find and need to fix, it could push that release date. Completion of the code is still on track, but with testing, it could push that release date however long, a couple weeks, month, 2 months. It's really, you can't really tell until you push the code into testing before production, and see what's broken and fix it. So other than that, working inside of TerraRebels, I guess a quick shout out to people working in the background that aren't as notable. The marketing team, since going through a little bit of a restructure and culling, they're really getting their head in the games. They're trying to work on and release educational material for the wider community. I think we've all seen it over the last 6 months. You see a lot of users come into the space and they may not have that experience or knowledge about not only the LunaClassic ecosystem and how to interact with it, especially when doing wallet transactions and needing to include that, always forgotten memo when doing a send to anything besides a Terra Station wallet. See a lot of users have issues with that, and then just also material on like general internet safety, not clicking those malicious links that we have actually done a really good job of getting rid of with the 2 proposals that passed, with, hiking up the amount needed to submit a proposal, as well as banning all external links other than to Agora posts. So I'm really happy to see that. I'm really happy to see the scams kind of die out on the government.
Hopefully we get less proposals.
Yeah, I know. I think you saw us kind of trolling earlier today on Twitter about governance. Anyways, not only the scam proposals, but also the kind of the spam ones, and hopefully, having that higher cost of entry to submit a proposal will kind of convince people or lead them to offer a better breakdown of their proposal before submitting it, so the community can really have something to vote on instead of just an idea. I mean, you've seen governance used a lot lately as taking community polls, and that's just simply not what it's for. The governance feature through Terra Station, of course you have your text proposals, but it's not to poll the community about the idea per se. I mean, unless depending on what the content or context is, of course, governance is really for on-chain decisions, and if it doesn't affect the core protocol or, funding from the community pool, I mean, governance on Terra Station really isn't the place for it. To my understanding, of course, I'm sure other people have different opinions. Other than that, TerraRebels did release a Layer 2 application, so we're really happy with that, to be able to, offer that little bit of utility to the chain, just kind of branching out.
What do you want to talk about that a bit more?
Yeah, sure. So you can access the application through our website. We dubbed it TerraRebels Moonshot. So it's I guess, you can go on the application and buy a ticket to enter into a chance to win the prize pool, which consists of percentages. It consists of 60% of total funds interacted with the contract during that week. It's on roughly a week-long loop, so the contract executes every Friday around 2 p.m. Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. And then I don't want to give out incorrect percentages, so let me look real quick. Yeah, so 60% of the pool goes to the winning player, 26% goes to burn, 6% to the builders of the application, so the different specific team members inside of TerraRebels that actually built the back end and the structure for the application. 7% goes to TerraRebels to help with our funding needs, and then 1% goes to the contracts reserve, which is not cumulative. So once 1% is reached, it kind of stays there. Yeah, so that's really cool. Happy to see that, and it sees, I guess, what you could say is fair interaction for the application. Other than that, just thinking, I did release one of our internal proposals today that was written and presented to the teams to kind of see where the teams are at consensus-wise on how we would like to move forward. So it was the TerraRebels Sustainable Budgeted Work Proposition, which passed a internal governance decision, which basically just outlines and gauges the teams on if we wanted to move towards a budgeted work model to where invoices would be submitted with cost breakdowns to the community instead of on a voluntary basis. So that we as a team can stay together and continue to develop software clients for the validators and community moving forward into the long term, and not have people get burnt out and tired of being a volunteer. So that was good to see. And we released it to the community for a community poll, which we do with 90% of our internal proposals. There's certain proposals we don't poll the community on, like the one that was, hey, do we want to use Microsoft 365? I asked in the community one day if they wanted to see these more administrative proposals, and they're like, no. So we don't poll the community on Microsoft 365. Other than that, unless you have any questions, Rocko, I guess I can just kind of move over to more general Lunc news, which again will be from here on out my opinion and not the official stance of TerraRebels.
Cool. No, that sounds good. I have got a few questions. I'll try to summarize it because I think otherwise the spaces would be quite long. But the questions are usually around three things, and if you join more of these if you've got more time to join one of these in the future, the questions are usually around three things: burn, IBC, when USDC mint, repeg. Sorry, those are usually the three questions that it's around, and then there's the recent drama. So the IBC is still planned for end of the year. I think you touched on it before.
Yeah, so like I said, it's the Tendermint upgrade that will allow the chain to have the ability to reopen those IBC channels. And yeah, that's included in the V23 upgrade. And like I said, the core protocol is still on track for being completed at the end of the year. Maybe a little bit after. It just depends. So But other than that, it's the front end application Terra Station, and well, more specifically Rebel Station, because we as an org won't be making any more pull requests to TFL to update station. So we do plan on releasing and having full functionality with our own wallet application to utilize, well, not utilize, but in place of Terra Station. So, just one more step away from having to be under the, I guess you could call TFL boot, just they're not having to rely on their good graces and pushing those pull requests to update Terra Station code. So I guess that's another development. Rebel Station is coming closer to full completion. And the upgrades, if I'm not mistaken, and this is my own assumption based on what I know is happening because it hasn't been said specifically, the V23 fixes for Terra Station may only be pushed on Rebel Station. So Terra Station itself may lose some functionality. I'm not sure. I'll have to clarify that with the teams, or because I do know we did decide to pretty much stop doing pull requests to anything TFL, to just to not have to need to. So yeah, did that answer your IBC?
Yeah, that's quite a big question. So we're gonna have a Rebel Station soon.
Yeah. So we did release, I guess kind of a sneak peek at that, a few months ago when Ed first got the, bare structures of it up and running. And the front end team has definitely been working really hard at getting the desktop application, the web extension, and then also the mobile applications up and running. It seems like mobile applications are kind of the trickiest because it involves licenses from Google as well as Apple. So we're working on those. And yeah, it'll essentially be an exact copy of Terra Station, except it'll be run, for lack of a better term, on our own servers instead of TFL servers. So we can make direct updates to it while core protocol gets updated instead of hoping and praying every time that TFL will do the updates for us. So yeah, and it looks really cool because we added, some TerraRebel branding to it, and I think it looks really nice.
No, looking forward to that. So how do you guys, this is just a question for me, how do you guys plan to communicate? And I won't tweet it now, although I'm an influencer, I won't tweet, I'll wait for official tweet from you guys or Ed or someone like that. But how do you plan to communicate that? Because that is quite a big news. I think a lot of Lunc community might not be aware of that.
Communicate which
Twitter and social media, yes.
Of Rebel Station becoming, you can still use Terra Station if you want to, but we won't be making updates to it. TFL said they will, and maybe they make the updates themselves. It's really on TFL if they make that decision or not. Honestly, yeah, just Discord, Twitter, and what have you. And now that you mention it, I will touch base with the rest of the front end team and get a hard answer on if those updates are going to be made to Terra Station for the V23 upgrade, and then give everyone a heads up as soon as I have an answer on that, so they can be prepared. And just so everyone is aware that since it is the same application, you don't have to send your coins to a different wallet or anything. It's still it's going to be the same wallet, so you just have to port your wallet over to the new interface to be able to still maintain accessibility to it. And then you should be good to go. It'll have all the same functionality.
Awesome. Thanks for the update, Clan. And the burn question, I want, because most of the questions, I'm sure you see it on Twitter, increase burn, pump my bags, and all these random stuff people post. But I'll just ask you just a general thoughts on your burn. I know obviously you can't have crazy burns, it kills on chain, but burn did help LunaClassic become the most popular coin on Twitter. So just wanted to hear your thoughts on the burn and what happened and also in the future.
Okay, so a controversial topic for the LunaClassic community. So, I mean, I'm sure everyone is aware, the 1.2% burn tax was like the first thing voted on once staking and governance was reinitiated. And shortly after it went live, the certain community members put in a proposal to reduce it from 1.2% to 0.02%. 0.02%. Yeah, okay. And they were really rallying behind the idea that this would increase on-chain volume, which perhaps it did a little, but not back to prior the burn tax at all. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's really hard to, I mean, with the on-chain activity and everything leading up to the burn tax, there's just so many factors to pin it on the burn tax for the drop off of on-chain activity. I'm sure it is a factor, and maybe it's just my own personal like mental block that I don't know. It's hard to think that 0.02% burn tax is really creating the drop off in that much on-chain activity. And perhaps what we saw beforehand and that giant spike in activity was more unnatural than the chain activity we're seeing now with the lack of utility we have currently on chain. And that's the answer, more utility, more equals more on-chain activity, which equals more burning in the end. So I don't really have any personal opinions on the burn tax or where it should be, at least not for the near term, until we can see how it, interacts on chain with more and more utilities being added. And then reassess the situation, much further later on down the road, and we can just all stop talking about burning for now. I do know that the way it was implemented created some issues for different smart contracts, especially smart contracts that execute multiple functions for each interaction. It's my understanding that each of those on-chain interactions that's executed with each smart contract is taxed. So that's something that I know the team is working on resolving, so that these certain smart contracts that have multiple functions executed won't be taxed 3, 4, 5 times. I don't really know where that progression is, but I do know it is on their list. And yeah, I think we all need to stop focusing on burn, and start focusing on utility.
Yeah, burn. Yeah, it's just building time into it. Burn was great, but just from a personal thought, I think burn was great. I know people want to move on from it, and correctly so, but it sort of captured the whole cryptocurrency. Like, it was the most popular coin. In my personal terms, it had to be dropped, but I don't know if it was dropped too early. But it's hard to say what is the right thing. I think Ed answered it really, really well. He said, we don't know what's going to happen if you drop it, if you leave it on for longer. We just have to try it and see what works. Even Ed, if he's probably way smarter than I am, he said we don't know if we drop it to 0.3%, 0.5%, 0.2%, what the reaction is going to be. There's so many different metrics, different things that can happen. It's just quite difficult to predict this thing. So, but what you've just said at the end, we need to talk less about the burn and other stuff. But whatever on Twitter is always there, isn't it?
Oh no, of course. And Ed's right about that. There's just so many factors that, with the on-chain activity and what either induces it or reduces it, and I don't think it's really related to the burn tax. I think it's just who expects people to just constantly be moving around coins for no reason, And
yeah.
Without utility, you move it from the exchange to your wallet, and then you stake it, or just you're holding it in more secure storage as opposed to an exchange. And then if you feel like selling, you move it back. Outside of the few different utilities that we currently have, I mean, I think that accounts for more of the on-chain volume than people not wanting to pay, 20 basis points or 2 basis points, or no, 20 basis points for on-chain activity. And I think regardless of where we move the tax rate, we could move it to 0.005%. I mean, you're not going to see this giant spike in on-chain activity. You're just, you'll probably see a little spike at first of people that were waiting for such an occasion to move coins. And then, it'll peter back off like we saw with the 0.2%, because it's just a matter of what reasons do I have to move my coins? And long-term holders are probably staking right now and just chilling, waiting for that on-chain utility to come back to the chain.
No, I agree, Clan. I mean, I had a Twitter conversation with someone that if TerraRebels or LunaCommunity was more, wanted a pump, they could announce, yeah, we're going to start burning again, and you'd get a short-term pump. But that's just a short-term. You don't want to keep doing that. You guys are trying to build value. Maybe for a trader like myself or an influencer, whatever you want to call it, is good. But that's short-term. Long-term, burning is not the future, is it? It will only work short term of a pump and dump. So I respect what you guys are doing, more trying to build than focusing on short term.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like the burn narrative long term doesn't do anything, for the price appreciation for the coin. Yeah, you'll get that massive pump because for whatever reason, people think that everything's just going to burn away in a week, and then Lunc will be at $50 next Friday. But I mean, I do agree with the burn.
I'm gonna tweet that Clan said Lunc to $50.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with the burn mechanism. I think most smart contract platforms do have some type of disinflationary model, and I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of if you're in it for the technology and the ecosystem and what have you, I mean, we all here to appreciate our bags and value, and, lowering supply is one of the economic factors that can lead to that appreciation and value. So I'm not against the burn mechanism. I'm against the burn narrative, I guess. And instead of increasing the burn, decreasing the burn for on-chain activity to burn more, rada. I mean, it's about utility. Give people a reason to use their coins, and you will increase the burn, at exponential rates, because more utility equals more activity equals more burn. Universe, everyone, please remember that less supply does not equal automatic value appreciation, but then that'll go up and bring in more users, which should bring in more utility, and it's a cycle, and yeah, I'll keep rambling, but yeah.
I think we saw the impact of burn. I think it will probably work once or twice more if you still played that narrative again of burning, because in cryptocurrency, or not cryptocurrency, in anything, is just demand and supply. But if you build a narrative that Lunc is just all about burn, you'll just lose the demand for it, and people will think, oh, it's just a pump and dump. So the burn will work once or twice. I've seen lots of other smaller cryptocurrencies announce they'll burn, but if you keep doing it, like you said, it's not going to work, because people will think, oh, it's just a short-term thing. I'm not playing it. It's going to go down. So what is building, and what you mentioned is what needs to happen. And if you keep trying to play that narrative, it's not going to work long-term, and which is not something you guys are planning to do, which is great.
Exactly. And I mean, the burn narrative was never our narrative, really, TerraRebels, at least, to begin with. That was something the community voted on, and, so we provided the software for it, Zeradar and Ed, and I was on the fence about it myself.
But when it was initially, was it Vegas? I think Vegas DM'd me months ago before it even got that big, and I didn't think too much of it. Was it him? It was him, wasn't it? That first sort of.
I don't know if I couldn't say if he's the first one to suggest a burn or not, because I do know that the whole we want to burn wallet, that happened before V2 branched off and TerraRebels really formed. I know Do Kwon provided that burn wallet address before then. Who suggested the on-chain burn function first. I don't know. I do know Vegas was a really big proponent of it.
Yeah, he DM'd me. Again, I'm not sure who did it, but he DM'd me. And then to be fair to Vegas, he believed in it. I didn't believe in it as much, and I got hurt by Luna, so I was like, I'll see what happens. I think I got involved in it probably 3-4 months ago, and then DeFi Ridge Lunatic, we held like a spaces with Ed in Vegas before it sort of all blew up. But yeah. Well, we'll move on from the burn narrative. I've got 2 more questions. And I think and there's 2 more people want to ask questions. I've got 2 more questions for you, mate. And then we'll try and round up in the next 20 minutes. And we appreciate your time, Clan. And it was also just good speaking to you. You're a good speaker. USDC repeg, just a quick update. Again, that's something that you probably see it on Twitter a lot. Just a quick update. If there is an update, I think Alex wrote a proposal. I spoke to Alex. I liked some of the aspects of it, especially the newer one, which he doesn't plan to mint. Then I think Tobias wrote a update as well on his plan. Are there any more updates to that?
I mean, outside of community discussion about it, and then feedback to the proposers of the proposals. I mean, I don't think we've seen much more development on it. I know Alex's plan is to shift to USTN, and the algorithmically fungible token model that he came up with. And, he laid that out pretty well, and he was rather receptive of community feedback on not wanting to mint under any circumstances. So I'm not aware of any larger developments for that proposal, the same as Zerodar and his Parisian pool proposal, where he outlines how creating different Lunc derivatives and using that to work towards repeg for I can't remember if in his proposal he also proposes a USTN type deal. And then I know Faffy is still working on his proposal, and I'm sure.
Sorry, who's that?
People are. Faffy, he was a member of the quant team for TerraRebels. He's rather active on the Discord server. He seems to show up in spurts, and he's been working on his proposal as well and I mean, it's all still kind of held close to the chest on his end. He hasn't released it yet. He did say that it would be ready sometime soon-ish, and he'll release it, I'm sure, to the community on Agora and what have you. So I'm really interested to see what ideas he has as opposed to Zerodar's idea as well as Alex's. And also just any proposals brought up, well thought out and well outlined proposals thought up about how to develop a new algorithmically, fungible token for the chain. So yeah.
No, cool. I'll obviously.
Maybe I can throw something in quickly to Clan.
Yes,
I know that Faffi's proposal. I don't want to go into it because nobody really knows until he obviously published, but it has a little bit to do with forex trading, so it's pretty interesting.
Okay. So I mean, if it has to do with forex trading, and if that's a mechanism or function inside of his structure to develop some type of stable token or algorithmically fungible token, I mean, that's a completely different approach. So definitely seeing a lot of good different approaches. And I mean, at the end of the day, it'll be up to the community to decide to either go in one direction or another, or, I know Ed said that when he was running on his testnet, he was able to get Zerodar's and Alex's idea to function at the same time with, no drawbacks. So that'll be really interesting. And then maybe it'll be kind of an arms race, and, you see which plan develops a new stable fungible token, first.
Yeah, when we had Tobias on Spaces a few weeks ago, and he said the same thing. because Tobias's sort of the pools that he mentioned was quite interesting, and I also love what Alex said of how it buys back Bitcoin. So a mixture of them working together could be pretty good. So thanks for the update. Anne's got a question. Do you want to speak, Anne? You've raised your hands for a while now.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath because I went from the airplane to the house to get in the AMA. So I don't know how long you've been talking. Maybe the questions I want to ask are already been answered, but I'm going to ask them anyways. So you can say they're just been answered, so I'm going to ignore them, and otherwise maybe someone can reply on it. I've got 8 questions. The first one is who are actually in the TerraRebels at the moment? The first one, how about the multi-sig? Well, who are in there? How does it work? Because I'm a little bit out of information. What's going on with the casino project? The holacracy proposal, why is it removed from the Agora, and will it be back on Agora, and can we vote on it? Then how are the payments for the developers and the coders managed today or in the next? The 7th question.
Sorry to interrupt, Anne. I don't know if you want to. I'll let Clan answer. I know there's lots of questions. I'll let Clan answer the first few, and then if you DM me all the 8 questions, we can go through it after, rather than asking 8 questions and Clan answers. Is that okay, Anne?
Yeah, but is maybe because I've got a last question. I think there has to be. I don't know if someone has to be publicly spoken on it, but I like to have some answers about that. And that's the question about Neblio, Vegas, and Radar, and if CZ is on speaking terms with the TerraRebels at the moment or not yet, and how is this problem going to be solved? Maybe someone has wrote with me the questions, but
okay. But yeah, we'll let Clan answer, and then if you DM me or comment below my tweet of the spaces, we'll try to answer as many as we can. But thanks for your question, and we'll let Clan answer now.
Yep.
Okay. Trying to remember all of them. All right.
Lots of questions, Clan. Just if you could do your best, mate.
Yeah. So first question was who is on TerraRebels? I mean, you can see a pretty good list on the Discord at any time. I don't know if you're in the Discord or not, and I do have some like Excel sheets that outlines the different teams and who's in them. I mean, there's currently 36 members, if I'm not mistaken. Many of us, jumping over from different teams and what have you. Let me see if I can pull that list up. I mean, do you really want me to read?
No, of course not. But there are so many information channels. Of course, there's Discord. But at the moment, in my point of view, there are too many information channels to get your information off, and it's not always clear if the information is right or wrong, or someone with an opinion wrote something about it. So maybe you can post something about it in the Discord with the group of names who are actually in the TerraRebels at the moment.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. I have a list drawn up. I'm actually seeing one name that needs to be updated, but I mean, I have no problem with making that list public to the community. I mean, we're all marked as team members on the Discord, so yeah. And then your other question was what's up with the casino thing? I mean, I don't have a stance on that at this time. Nor would I probably ever make my own personal stance public. But it seems that both sides of that have published information publicly to the community and, allow the community to decide on that scenario. which was an interesting development last night.
That was, to be fair, sorry to interrupt, Clan. That was probably one of the main questions. I think if you saw some of the comments on this AMA, like I said, I spoken to Rexy a bit before, but I haven't made up my mind, and again, I can't share my thoughts. Maybe if I there's no fact, there's more drama. So I respect what Clan is saying. I'll let other people make up their mind.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, go on.
No, go on, Clark. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say the same. I basically know both sides. I'm pretty neutral in this. I don't know all the facts. There's a lot of accusations going on Twitter, and I don't know if it's really helpful right now, to be honest, because nobody really knows what's going on. So I would just wait to see what's going to unfold. You know, it's
maybe
no use right now.
We can get both of them on and then discuss it, but we'll maybe not speak on it this week, but in the future spaces, if we hold, we can get Rex or the other party and have a conversation, but that's for something in the future.
Exactly. And yeah, I just like to state that, TerraRebels, that's not a situation we're involved in directly. So, we're just watching it all unfold as the rest of the community is.
I mean, one question was about funding, right? That's pretty easy to answer. He answered already. There was and if you want to look it up, there is a proposal in Discord. The Clan uploaded. Maybe Clan can quickly explain what it is about. Basically, like setting up or basically having the idea to publish some sort of funding plan, right, Clan?
Yeah. So we voted on this recently. The teams did. And it was essentially, like I said earlier, to gauge the team's consensus on if we wanted to stay volunteers or if we wanted to shift over to a budgeted work model where we would submit, or I guess publish, because there's not really anyone to submit them to, publish invoices, to the wider community, outlining a cost breakdown of any work that is being asked to be completed on the core protocol or perhaps Terra Station. And after the V23 upgrade, that'll be to my understanding at this point in time, that'll be the last of TerraRebels working on a strictly volunteer basis. So we're also exploring different avenues of funding going forward, not just, from community, I guess you could call them expenditures, but, just other funding avenues that we're pursuing as, I guess you could say private organization and what have you. I hope that answers your question. And then, okay, other questions. I know you asked something about Neblio. I feel that that's been discussed enough in the community, and there's not really anything more to speak on it, really. It's a deal that happened that is still active, and, yeah. Do any of y'all remember any of the other questions that I could answer for now?
Well, I've just had a DM, Clan. We'll answer that and we'll start rounding up. I know we said around 1.5 to 2 hours. This question that I've had in the DM is talks about Luna and Duquan. Let me just open that DM. So the question is, are TerraClassic going to reach to Duquan, as he said, request all Cosmos Chain core teams for integration? I don't really understand the question, actually. Does that Clan the question?
Okay, yeah. So I saw that tweet earlier. It was a little ambiguous. I mean, he wasn't really specific about what he was talking about. But I did see in a subsequent tweet that whatever he is talking about, Lunc would be supported. From reading his tweets and the little bit else he said on it, from my understanding, and this is just my understanding, it may or may not be what's happening. It looks like he wants to make the Terra Station for V2 kind of like an interchain portal, as opposed to needing to utilize like a bridge with like the shuttle bridge or the wormhole bridge. Like you would just be able to do that directly on Terra Station for V2. And when he says Lunc supported, does that mean that Lunc is capable of being utilized on this on-chain bridge, or does that mean the Lunc network Terra Station application will also have that same function? I really don't know. That's another thing developing that I guess we just have to wait and see what else Do Kwon has to say about it.
Yeah, I think I got it the same way, to be honest. Like I saw some tweets, people are like freaking out and retweeting, oh, Do Kwon is supporting LunaClassic. No, it's not directly the case. You know, he's saying this thing is going to support LunaClassic. So it's like, he tweeted something like, leave me alone now. You know, I tweeted it, but
Yeah.
it's not quite the same thing. He didn't say it yet. Like,
Just found the tweet.
No. So
maybe in future, right? But not yet.
Okay, cool. Just a question. So what's your thoughts? Clan, when did you get involved with Luna? Was it beforehand or after? I didn't ask you that.
okay, so I mean, I'm a post DPEG individual. I was not involved with what is now known as LunaClassic before the DPEG event. It was one of the many projects I was keeping my eye on. And then, yeah, so I jumped in along with a few other, more crypto-minded people that, I interact with. And one day we decided to create a Discord server to kind of pull all of the different people still interacting with the chain and keeping track of the news in those early days. This was probably like a week or two after the DPEG. And I mean, yeah, I've stayed involved along with, the other people that, jumped in with me, and it's just kind of transmutated into, where we're at now, which is
No, thanks
really
for that.
exciting.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, mate.
No, you're fine. That was the end.
The reason why I was asking this is I've noticed people that had been involved with Luna beforehand and people that got involved after, they sort of have different approach, I suppose, or how they see the relationship with Luna and LunaClassic. So like Lunc DAO or CFI, or myself even, I was way involved with Luna beforehand. So yeah, that's why I sort of asked you what your thoughts are on it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, my views on it, I mean, I don't personally see any problem with working with Do Kwon or other TFL developers. I mean, they're the ones who created the chain. If someone's wanting to build on chain, I mean, who else better to ask? And I know that's probably a very controversial thing, but I mean, it's just from an objective standpoint. If he's, if you trust him or not, and, if he's willing to lend a hand or advice to whoever has a question or is looking for advice, then, I mean, cool. Why is he doing it? I couldn't tell you. Maybe he feels bad. I don't know. So I don't take a strong stand. I'm not like, hey, we need Do Kwon, and I'm not like, hey, under no circumstances should anyone working on LunaClassic, work with Do Kwon. I mean, if you want to search out his advice and help, then that's cool. And if he's willing to give it, then, whatever.
I think that's consistent with sort of what Ed and a few other people have said. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. We'll start rounding up now, Clan. We don't want to go. I think there's a few more questions, but we'll start rounding up. Is there anything else you wanted to say? Just open for you guys, and just thank you for giving us your time. But is there anything final you want to say? We've got a few more questions, but we'll start rounding up now.
Yeah. I guess just in closing, and I did remember another one of your questions about Agora and the holacracy proposal being taken down. I mean, TerraRebels doesn't control Agora. That's a TFL thing, or a derivative of TFL. So we don't have any interactions on Agora. We submit proposals the same as everyone else. So I don't have a true answer about that, about why that may or may not be happening. But in closing, I guess, I mean, I would say that it's my hope as a community member that we as a community can continue to grow and mature. Over the last 6 months, we've seen a lot of what I guess one could say is just like immature behavior, almost childish behavior with, the different rock throwing at each other. So, and like I said earlier, you're definitely starting to see it happen. I'm seeing it happen in the Discord server and also on Twitter, where people are, at least seem to be kind of approaching things from a more mature and less childish standpoint. It's just the things we're discussing should be discussed from a very neutral, unemotional standpoint. Emotion sways your decisions, and I think emotion when discussing these types of things should be completely removed, and you attack it from a very indifferent, mellow, centered standpoint, so we can truly get these things hammered out and, move forward with the chain as a community together. But at the same time, I'd also like to say that the different dynamics we're seeing in the community, and as we see those dynamics involve, that all the infighting and everything and what have you, the almost immature aspect of it, is not something that I feel we should be too concerned about. I think it's a natural, organic process. And, the same as we all grow up from children into adults, we as a community will grow from that fledgling primordial state that we've been in for the last 6 months and, grow into a, operational, chain that's sought after by developers.
Okay. No, thanks for that, Clan. I've got loads more questions, but I think we'll start rounding up. And if I'll DM you. I don't think we've spoken on DMs before. I'll send you a message in the future if you're available again to answer them rather than just having 3-4 hour long spaces. DeFi Reg, Lunatic, do you guys want to add something before we finish the spaces?
I think I'm good, actually.
I think everything has been covered pretty well. I do apologize. I was sitting there, I had to feed my dogs and get organized because I had to run some late night errands. I'm actually driving right now, but I think y'all definitely hit some great points about TR, things going on Lunc-wise. So I definitely think you rounded up very nicely, Rocko.
Awesome. Thanks, Clan, again. Like I said, I'll message you. And if you got any suggestions for like future spaces, because one thing I would like to do is I'll check with you guys before I bring a community or a project on, in case just to do a quick vet, because you don't want to bring someone on. And I know I'm not a big influencer, but I don't want to like endorse a project that could be wrong. But if you have any suggestions for us, Clan, do let us know.
Of course. And I'd also just like to say in closing that, I really appreciate you having me up here, to be able to, share whatever updates that I was able to get. It was also really cool to be up here with Metagloria. So huge shout out to them. And yeah, just thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, Clan. We'll speak to you later. And thanks, everyone, for listening. Apologies for not taking all the questions. I did want to limit it to 2 hours. Hopefully, in the future, we'll bring on Clan again and we'll have other guests. You can ask your questions and we'll leave a bit more time for you guys to ask questions. So thank you, everyone, for joining. And I'll catch you guys later. And thank you to Metagloria and Clan. Good night, all.